Live from 10th Avenue in New York City, it's The 10 Show with Max Montgomery. And now, here's your host, Max Montgomery.
Yeah! What's going on? Come on, let me hear ya! Woo! And... Alrighty then. It's time to get into today's 10 Show. The show where we celebrate the number... 10! You're so good! That's right, the number 10. Well, we have an amazing show for you. Probably the best show that we've ever had. So let's get right into it. Bafo, take it away! All right. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Bafo and the 10 Show Band. All right. Hey, listen. We've got a great show for you today. I can't wait to get into it, but I got to find out. Bafo, how has your week been going?
It's going great, Max. Hey, how about yours?
Oh, absolutely fantastic. Now listen, I heard that you had a whole lot of friends over at your house the other night.
I sure did. We played one of my all-time favorite games.
Oh, really? What game is that?
Buffalo backgammon.
I can't say that I've ever heard of that. How do you play it?
It's kind of complicated, Max. Let's just say that it involves 4 tennis rackets, a necktie, and a small water buffalo.
Oh, yeah. Sounds complicated. And weird. Boys and girls, I'm excited that you're here because today we're continuing 10 for Life, taking 10 scriptures that will help us for our life. We're memorizing them, we're learning them, but I'll tell you what, before we get into this week's verse, it's time for today's Top 10 list! All right, today's Top 10 list. Our category today is the top 10 rejected movie titles for the movie Star Wars. Bafo, you've seen Star Wars, right?
Star Wars, that kind of rings a bell. Is that the one where they had the 2 little hairy people going up to the volcano to melt their bling bling?
No, not quite. It's a space movie. You know, Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker? I went to high school with that joker. He owes me $10.
Never mind. Boys and girls, today's top 10 list is the top 10 rejected movie titles for Star Wars. These are titles they thought about naming the movie, but didn't. Here we go. Number 10, Wacky Wookiees. Number 9, Yoda Man. Number 8, Space Weasel. Number 7, Lightsabers the Musical. Number 6, Planets Go Boom. Number 5, Gone with the Wind. Number 4, R2-D2's Electric Barbecue. Number 3, Han Solo, I Can't Hear You. Number 2, All Droids Go to Heaven. And the number 1 rejected title of the movie Star Wars, Darth Vader's My Dad. And that's our top 10 list. That was our top 10 list today, everybody. Now, we've got a great show, but before we get started, I've got to let you hear from our commercial sponsor today. So, we'll be right back with The 10 Show.
Hi, I like to yell a lot. I also like to sell amazing products, like this one right here. It's the Mystery Box. It's the final answer to all your problems. This baby slices, it dices, it deep fries, it even walks your dog. How does it work? I don't know. It's a mystery.
Wow, how can this box clean all these dishes?
It's a mystery.
Where are my socks?
It's a mystery.
Huh? What are you talking about?
It's a mystery! Call right now to order your very own mystery box. What's the number? How much does it cost? I have no idea! It's a mystery!
welcome back to the show. I'm so excited about our show today. Listen, our very special guest is a man who has an amazing story to tell. And he's also the pastor of a very large church. And I can't wait for you to meet him. Put your hands together and welcome Pastor Rod Lloyd. All right, good to see you.
Nice hair, Max. Yeah, thank you. I love what you've done with your hair.
Oh, thank you.
Very nice.
I love my hair. It's given to me by my mama. All right. Pastor Rod, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Max. Thanks.
Listen, I am so excited to be able to have the pastor of such a large church here on the 10 Show. And I have some questions for you, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I know that thousands of people watch you deliver your sermon every single week. And I was just thinking, you must have grown up as like a superhuman kid or something, being able to know how to talk to thousands of people like that.
Actually, Max, it was completely the opposite of that.
Really?
I was the kid who didn't fit in. I don't know what they call it now. They called it a nerd, a geek. I was the reject. I didn't look good. I'm scared to talk in class. If I had to give a book report, I'd cry and not go to school. Kids picked on me, made fun of me.
Wait, you were picked on as a kid?
I was picked on so much, I begged my mom and dad to let me quit school so I could just stay home. I remember one kid, his name was Larry. I remember his name because he was so mean and he made my life miserable. He loved to pick on me. I remember one day him throwing rocks in the air and hitting them at me with a baseball bat. I remember him following me home from school and knocking my books on the ground, and I'd pick them up and he'd kick them and he'd knock me down again.
Really?
Larry scared me more. He made my life miserable. I hated school and I hated Larry.
Well, I don't blame you. I mean, if I had somebody picking on me like that, I wouldn't want to go to school either. Matter of fact, I'd probably want to hide at home and never come out. But did it always continue like that, or did things ever change?
Well, there was a day. We were out on the playground. Still remember, I was swinging on the swing set. Larry was throwing rocks at me. All of a sudden, the sky got real black. And you could feel the wind start to blow. And then the teacher came on the principal came on the loudspeaker and kind of, I'm
sorry, what was that?
Yeah, that's what we all said. Nobody ever understands teachers and principals on loudspeakers. And the teachers came out and said, hurry kids, we got to go inside, a tornado's coming our way.
Oh, tornadoes are scary. What happened?
I was very scared. We went inside and they made us all get out in the hallway and, you know, all the things you do, turn out the lights and open the doors and equalize pressure and do you remember the position, Max, that you had to do in the hallway?
I remember we had to get down and put our head between our knees.
Why don't you show us that position? Because I don't know if I can. I think you can.
It kind of looked like this.
That's it, exactly. That's the duck and cover position.
And make sure you cover your head.
Make sure you cover your head so if the building falls down.
Everything's fine because your hands are covering your head. Nothing's going to hurt you.
So we were out in the hallway. We're in the duck and cover position, and I heard a sound next to me.
Oh, was it the tornado siren?
It was not the tornado siren, but it sounded a little like a siren.
Well, what was it?
It was kind of a little sound that kind of went, and I didn't know what it was. And I looked, and there next to me was Larry.
He was making that sound?
He was making that sound.
You've got to be kidding me.
I was not happy with God.
Yeah,
I said,
here you are in a tornado with Larry.
If I'm going to die, I don't want to be next to Larry.
I can understand.
Now
that.
I'm next to Larry, but I just stayed there and I prayed, God, would you let the building fall down and just fall on Larry and not on me? I prayed lots of stuff. And then I listened again, I heard it a little louder. It's kind of, and before long, it was,
oh my.
And I turned and Larry was freaking out.
He was crying?
He was crying.
Because of the tornado, he was scared.
Because he was scared to death. And I said, Larry, what's wrong? And he said, don't you know we're going to die? I said, Larry, yes, we're going to die. But if I die, I'll go to heaven. And Larry, if you die, you're going to burn in hell.
Oh my!
Yeah.
You didn't cut any corners
No,
with
I
him, did
didn't.
you?
He started crying louder.
Wow.
He was freaking out.
That is quite an evangelism tactic.
Well, I wouldn't recommend it, but it worked that day for me. Finally, Larry asked me, why aren't you afraid? And I told him I wasn't afraid because I knew Jesus was with me. And it was right there, 3rd grade, duck and cover position in the hallway, tornado sirens blowing, that Larry, the guy who picked on me and made my life miserable, I prayed with him and he asked Jesus into his heart.
Wow. So I guess things probably changed there after he became a Christian, right?
My life changed completely when his life changed.
Wow. So tell us about it. What happened?
Well, Larry was no longer picking on me. Instead, I now had the biggest, toughest kid in the school as my best friend.
Wow.
So when we'd go out to get picked for kickball at recess,
right?
they'd pick Larry first, then they'd pick someone else, then Larry would kind of grab the shirt of the captain and say, pick Rod. And so they'd say, okay, Rod. So I'd be one of the first ones picked. If somebody was picking on me or throwing rocks at me, I'd just go, Larry. Larry'd come running over, stand there and say, that's my friend you're picking on. I wasn't picked on anymore. My life changed because the biggest, strongest kid in the school was my best friend. And when the biggest person's your best friend, nobody messes with you.
So earlier when you were by yourself, you were scared to even go to school, but suddenly when you had the biggest guy in the school as your best friend, well, suddenly you were strong and courageous.
It reminds me of one of my favorite verses, Joshua 1:9.
Oh, well, that verse is our verse that we're memorizing today in 10 for Life. Tell us, what does it say?
Joshua 1:9 says, I command you, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go.
Wow, that is an amazing verse. And it reminds me of today's big idea. Today's big idea says, I'll be courageous, I'll be strong, because the Lord is with me all day long. So, every time today that you hear this sound, hey, what's the big idea? Stand up and say it with me. I'll be courageous, I'll be strong, because the Lord is with me all day long. And that's today's big idea.
That is an awesome big idea. I love it, Max.
It is an amazing one, and I got to tell you, I have enjoyed having Pastor Rod Loy on the show with us today. Have you enjoyed him? Come on, give him a hand, give him a hand.
Thank you.
Well, kids, that's all the time we have for the 10 Show today. Tune in next time as we continue 10 for Life, 10 amazing verses that will change our life. On behalf of Bafo, Pastor Rod, and myself, thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next time on The 10 Show. Ha ha!